Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and we're about to do a Magic the Gathering structure deck compilation where we took multiple copies of the structure deck to build our deck. Now, it's going to feature Dwynen the Gilt-Leaf Dane, and I actually decided to take a couple of moments and do a bit of research. So the set symbol, the deck, was the Dual Decks Elves versus Inventors. And just real quick, I want to say this is Kaladesh block. Again, so anybody out there, probably you, call me. Somebody let me know. Just so I don't sound so silly later. We did do my standard 18 land. It is all forest. So this way we don't have to talk about that anymore. Instead, let's get these. And of course, I do have sleeves. They're off to the side. We're going to go ahead and get this thing sleeved up here afterward. I'm sort of crunched for time, and I really want to get the video done for you guys. So let's just get into it. First up, we're going to be using the legendary creature Dwynen the Gilt-Leaf Dane. We're going to use 2 copies of her. She is a 3/4 on 4. She has reach, so we can block those flyers. She also gives other elves that we control an additional 1/1 whenever she is the one to attack. I will also gain 1 life for every attacking elf that I control. So again, the larger the attack assault force, the better our hit points are going to sit at the end of it. We do want to run her elite. So we have a playset of the Dwynen's elites. And maybe we'll actually just zoom in just a tiny bit. So this is going to be a 2/2 on 2. It is an elf warrior. And when it enters the battlefield, if we control another elf, we get to create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. So again, as long as there was already an elf in play, which is very easy with this deck, we get to call 2 per summon of playing this spell. So again, that's pretty fantastic. Next up, we're going to be using 2 copies of the Elvish Branch Bender. And again, this is really fun. It's 2/2 on 3. This Elf Druid has a tap effect. This is what this symbol is for those of you that are Yu-Gi-Oh! And not Magic players. Until the end of the turn, target forest becomes an XX tree folk, in addition to its other types, where X is the number of elves that we have in play at the time. And by we, I mean the player. So again, if you have 5 elves, you do this. One of those forests that's up and over here out of sight now, one of these will become a 5/5 tree folk. So again, we can animate the land, which is awesome. Like, honestly. The card I couldn't remember the other week, Elvish Mystic. It's basically Land of War. Again, so I guess I didn't fully stick to this because I do have the M15 copy right there. But they do obviously come from the structure deck, as you can see here. And again, it's just a 1/1 on 1 tap to generate 1 green mana. Real quick, we did want to create, include 1 copy of Ezuri, the Renegade Leader. He's a 2/2 on 3. He's also a legendary. So again, for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, because I kind of mentioned legendary last time, you guys will remember Dwynen was a legendary. I can control both of these at the same time because they are legendaries with different names. The legendary rule only applies to whether or not Dwynen's already in play, and I try to play another one. So I can play Ezuri at the same time. That'll be fine. We do have 2 abilities here. On 1 green, he may regenerate another target elf. So again, if one of my elves was going to be defeated in battle, you regenerate them. If they were blocking, they're usually untapped like this. When they're regenerated, and correct me if I'm wrong, if it's been too long, they will tap out, but their toughness will come back. And then additionally, he's essentially the overrun spell. Same casting cost, same effect. It is just for elves this time. So on the 5, elves get a 3/3 trample until the end of the turn. And again, when we're using Dwynen's elites, we also get to create more characters and gain the field advantage. So it's fantastic. We are going to use a couple of Ezuri's archers, more reach characters. Whenever they block a creature with flying, they get an additional 3/0 until the end of the turn. So they're more proficient going against flyers. So again, it's going to be a 1/2 on 1. But fantastic for taking out most early game flyers. We are going to play 2 copies of the Fierce Empath. It's a 1/1 on 3. When this enters the play, you may search the library for a creature with converted 6 or higher. Reveal that, place it in your hand, then shuffle your library. This comes in handy with the next copy we're going to use, which is 2 copies of the Gladeheart Cavalry. Now, this is going to be a converted 7. It is a 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, it gets support 6. So you get to place a 1/1 counter on up to each of 6 other target creatures. Now, that said, if I only have 5 other creatures, well, then I only get 5 of those tokens. I can't double it up and target the same guy twice. They have to be 6 targets. Unless, of course, I'm mistaken in reading that and we can target the same character more than once. They just have to be other than this card. Again, let me know down there in the comments. Whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter dies, then you will also gain 2 life. So again, pretty good card. Pretty good card. We're going to use 2 copies of the Ivy Lane Denizen. And again, whenever another green creature enters the battlefield, token or not, under your control, then you'll place a 1/1 counter on that target creature. So again, we use this in combination with the Gladeheart Cavalry, and not only can we double up on counters given to the cards that are already in play, we also have more targets to help us gain life. And again, it's going to be a 2/3 on 4. So still really good. Next up, we're going to use some Jagged Scar Archers, because again, I love archers. Their power and toughness are going to be equal to the number of elves that we can currently control. So if they're the only elf that we control, then they are obviously a 1/1. If we have 20 and then we play them, they're 21 by 21. It's fantastic. Additionally, we may tap them. They deal target creature with flying damage equal to this card's power. So again, it's sort of like doing the battle or having the monsters fight, but without the other one being able to attack us back. Another good card I like to use, 2 copies of the Krosan Tusker. And this one's 2 reasons. First off, we can search this with our previous creature spell, and we can do the cycling effect. The cycling effect here would be we pay that 3 mana, discard to draw 1, or we could just play it as a 6/5 on 7. Additionally, when you cycle this card, you may search your library for basic land, reveal, place into hand, then shuffle library. Again, library being the deck for those of you who maybe just play Yu-Gi-Oh! Up next, we did have some Land of War Elves. I'm not sure why these guys are in here. That is totally a different set symbol. So maybe it was just slightly modified. Again, one of these could be the Elvish Mystic to bring that up to 4. And we could always bring the next character up to 3 if we want. If you guys want to keep things the way I said at the beginning. The next one would be the Leaf Gilder. Same effect. It's going to be tapped to add 1. However, it's a 2/1 on 2. So just slightly bigger. Next up, Regal Force. You guys remember this from the previous elf deck. Same effect. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each green creature I currently control. Tokens included. Now this card is searchable in this deck. Again, 5/5 on 7. So pretty fantastic to get the elemental. We're going to run 2 copies of the Sylvan Advocate. This has Vigilance. What is Vigilance? Well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, when this card attacks, normally my cards have to tap to show that they're being used. A card with Vigilance does not have this weakness. This way that card can be vigilant and then defend me next turn. Now, the additional effect here, as long as you control 6 or more land, Sylvan Advocate and land creatures I control get +2/+2. So remember that one effect where we had the Branch Bender that could turn my forests into Tree Folk? That means those Tree Folk are now bigger. Plus, this guy's an elf anyway, which means additional things. Plus, he's an ally. And the last time the allies were played on Zendikar, maybe, we had the Awaken ability, which allowed a lot of land animation, which was fantastic. Totally have a whole build for that. Another day. So again, you'll play 2 copies of him. Getting towards the end now, my friends. Next up, we're going to play the last of our creature spells, Yeva, or maybe Yiva, Nature's Herald. This is going to be another Elf Shaman, 4/4 on 4, flash. And again, we've got some reminder text, so this creature may be played anytime we could cast instants. and we may cast green creature spells as though they had flash as long as she remains in play on our side of the field, truly allowing us to just overwhelm the opponent and do some very goofy elf-like things. Not playing a lot in the way of spells. And again, I'm noticing some Zendikar stuff. We have Earth and Arms. This is a sorcery. Cast on 2, give 2 1/1 counters to target permanent. Awaken, we could play this on 7. If you cast this for this cast here, you also get to place 4 1/1 counters on target land we control, and it becomes a 0/0 elemental with haste, as well as being a land. So, if we do it on 6, we're paying 4 extra. That's why it's Awaken 4. It's the extra cost to the spell. Somebody's going to get power. We're going to animate a land. And then again, while using that ally, that land gets even tougher. So again, pretty win-win. 2 copies, Nature's Way. Target creature we control gains vigilance and trample until the end of the turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature we don't control. Again, it's like having them fight outside of the battle without our character tapping or taking the damage. So again, very good. And you definitely want the vigilance trample because again, if it's a big card, we just want to send that out there. See if we can get some blockers off the opponent's side. Last spell, we're going to use 4 copies of Nisa's Judgment. So this is going to cast on 5. Support 2, so we get a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. And then choose up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. Each creature I control with a 1/1 counter on it deals damage equal to its power to that creature. So again, the more creatures we have with the 1/1 counters over time, over the course of our game, the better, the stronger this is going to end up being. And again, this is another big reason why we play all the things like the Gladeheart Cavalry, the Ivy Lane Denizen. We want a lot of our cards to have the counters so that when our opponent does play truly big cards, we can just basically jump them, get their card jumped in, and do what we want to do. So again, that is another elf deck. I do hope that you guys enjoyed it. It's not that special. There are definitely better elf builds. It's just another one that I enjoy playing. But seriously, thanks for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, do the things. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I'll try better next time. And guys, we're going to be off until New Year's Eve. So enjoy the rest of the week. You don't have to keep checking back to see if new stuff has dropped. But me and Celestial need to get to work on making that video for you. So till then, you guys have a lovely day, lovely week, and a lovely rest of the year. See you then.